I'd like to call to order the Township of North Huntington Board of Commissioners regular meeting for Wednesday, April 16th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Roll call, Manager Falk.
Commissioner Hempel.
Here.
Commissioner Hagus.
Here.
Commissioner Gray.
Here.
Commissioner Zona.
Here.
Evan.
Here.
Commissioner Goss. President Atwood.
Here. I ask to be able to please rise for the Pledge of to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This time I'd like to acknowledge the Board of Commissioners had an executive session after last Thursday's meeting to discuss legal matters. And at this point, in the meeting, we're going to have a special presentation for the Westmoreland City Volunteer Fire Department. We're going to defer to Commissioner Hempel since Westmoreland City is in the first ward.
Turn my mic on, I guess. Good evening, everyone. If I could have all members of the Westmoreland City Fire Department come forward, please. Okay, I was supposed to use the mic. I apologize. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Westmoreland City Volunteer Fire Department. I stand in front of you today as an honor to be here here basically because we're here in front of you and you are out there serving and protecting us each and every day. I'm here to announce a proclamation in celebrating the 100th anniversary of Westmoreland City Fire Department. Whereas the Westmoreland City Volunteer Fire Department has served the community of North Huntington Township with dedication, bravery, and selflessness for the past 100 years. And whereas a group of local citizens took action after devastating fire at the Sadler Hotel on Main Street, took the life of a firefighter, Joan Nano, from Manor, and formed Westmoreland City Volunteer Fire Department, led by Chief Andrew Adamson. And whereas the Westmoreland City Volunteer Fire Department currently has 51 dedicated members, 29 of them are highly trained and committed who pride themselves on their public service. They respond to calls involving fires, vehicle crashes, and many other situations that require emergency assistance. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the North Huntington Township Board of Commissioners commends the brave and dedicated past and present members of the Westmoreland City Fire Department for all that have done and will do, and we congratulate in organizing for reaching this special milestone. Presented this day, April 16th, Board of Commissioners, signed by President Jason Atwood.
Citizen would like to offer any input, I ask you to sign the book at the podium. Thank you. Our first resident is Rob Luthold. As you come and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, Rob Luthold, business address of 11259 Center Highway. I'm the Executive Director of North Huntington EMS Rescue, and I have with me tonight Deputy Director John Mooney. We want to extend our thanks for your unwavering support of our organization. We're both equally grateful for the incredible support of the public. Without the support from both of you, we would not be here today doing what we do. I feel it's important to have a good relationship with our community leaders and other public safety entities. I've had the honor to work with Chief Rizzo and all the fire chiefs while serving in different leadership roles with the organization. To give a little background of our organization, it was founded in the fall of 1959, and the first call was taken in January of 1960. The building was located at the old townhouse maintenance building where Center Highway and Main Street meet. From there, our new building was built in 1975 and was able to expand for growth. We had 3 ambulances and a rescue truck then. In 1988 was our first paid member. From there, we kept growing. In 2008 to 2009, we had to restructure the organization and somewhat of a name change to better align with our mission. That is when the North Huntington EMS Rescue name was developed. This name change better aligned our mission for providing care for the sick and injured while aligning our medically directed rescue operations. Currently, we have 17 full-time staff members, approximately 25 part-time members, and a handful of volunteers. We staff 2 ambulances 24 hours a day with an operations supervisor. During peak times, we have additional staff to allow for more calls to be taken, so we're available for your emergency. We currently have 4 ambulances, with our newest one just put into service last week. It was at a cost of $207,000. Which is an increase of $61,000 from 3 years ago. It replaced a 2014 ambulance that had over 200,000 miles on it. Our rescue truck has the Commonwealth recognition of Volunteer Rescue Service and Recognition Operations level. This means we meet the Commonwealth standards for training and equipment on the truck. We also have a water rescue division. It also has the Volunteer Rescue Service and Recognition Type 2A. We have 3 boats, 2 inflatable rafts for ice rescue. That team is comprised of staff and volunteer firefighters from this township. We have a drone that we use to assist with police with search and rescue, and we've worked very well with the North Huntington Police Department and other agencies surrounding with it. We have a tactical EMS component. We have several members that work with the Attorney General's office providing medical aid on high-risk warrants throughout the state. And we also have 3 of the 5 paramedics that are on the Westmoreland SWAT to provide medical coverage while we cover the 11 different municipalities in the county. While these specialty teams do not generate revenue, it engages the staff to seek out qualifications to care for others outside of the normal ambulance calls. We still have our CPR first aid program, where we are able to be teaching businesses, youth groups, and adults first aid, CPR, stop the bleed, etc. We average about 4,600 calls per year, which includes fire calls, standby events, but we only transport about 3,500 patients. Our funding mostly comes from reimbursements. Over the last 2 years, we have sent over $6 million in medical bills. To date, we have just received a little over $3 million. To break that down further, our average bill is $860 for an ambulance ride to the hospital. Our average return rate from the insurance is $424. So as you can see, the return rate from the insurance companies are low, and sometimes it does not even cover the cost to transport a patient to the hospital. I ask that if you speak with any state legislators, to have conversations about increasing insurance company reimbursements to the EMS services, and also to make direct payments mandated so that EMS services get their payments promptly. We do receive an allotment from the township, which is very much appreciated. We have a subscription drive that has done very well, and thank you to the residents. We have the highest percentage return rate in the area. We could not do that without them. While there are some residents who believe that we are tax-based, we are not. All of our funding is from insurance reimbursements, subscription drives, grants, and donations. I look forward to working with you to help shape the future of North Huntington EMS Rescue so that we can better serve our residents and visitors of the township. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Our next resident is Rick Keenan. As you come and state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Rick Keenan, 700 Legger Road. I received a letter a few days after last month's meeting. It was addressed to me expressing concerns about North Huntington. The concerns are commissioner decisions, the police chief, and the sports stadium. And I voiced my criticisms, input, all were voiced here by the citizens in the citizens' input. I have concerns about the way about this, because this letter came from Texas. As where the letter came from, are our problems here so big that they're clear to Texas? It was from the Police Association in Stratford, Texas. And also opening things about the North Huntington Council need to hear from you, and was quoted at the last meeting that the North Huntington commissioners have to hear from you. We're our eyes and voice, I believe it was said. I will give this letter to the president to check out how many others got this letter. I don't want or expect an answer in your summary tonight because it will take some time, and I would expect an answer in public, as I have said, at next month's meeting. Thank you.
Our next resident is Nick Carosa. I ask you come and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Nicholas Carroza. I come before you tonight not as a politician, not as an agitator, but as a concerned citizen who has had enough. Enough of the backdoor deals, backroom deals, enough of the retaliation, enough of watching those who were meant to serve us instead serve themselves, Accountability Now, Norwin, is not just a name, it's a call to action, a demand, a movement rooted in the belief that public service is a privilege, not a license to abuse power. For too long, our community has been plagued by controversy after controversy. We've seen a magistrate discard evidence in trash bags, a commissioner threaten a civilian in a public parking lot, a police chief fired for standing by the law instead of bowing to political pressure, a racial discrimination lawsuit that cost taxpayers over $250,000, and those responsible still have yet to apologize. And just recently, allegations of harassment inside of our own police department met with silence instead of swift accountability. Each time the public was kept in the dark until lawsuits, investigations, and settlements dragged the truth into daylight. But here's what they don't want you to know. You, the people, have the power to stop this. Accountability Now, Norwin, exists to inform, empower, and organize the residents of the township. We believe that no one serving under color of law should operate without oversight. That whistleblowers should be protected, not punished. That transparency is not a threat to authority, it is the only thing that gives it legitimacy. This movement is not about partisanship, it's about principles. It's about restoring trust in local government by holding those in power to the standards they promised to uphold. It's about ensuring that our children inherit a township of integrity, not in poverty. Tonight I ask you, don't settle for silence. Don't be intimidated by titles. Don't wait until the next lawsuit drains another $600,000 from our budget before you start asking questions. If a citizen can't ask questions without being escorted out by police, then we've already lost the republic. Let's be clear, accountability is not hatred. It is love in the most courageous form. Love for justice, love for our Constitution, love for our neighbors. If you believe in that love, if you believe in truth, and if you believe that this township still belongs to the people, then I invite you to join us. Accountability Now Norwin, for the people, by the people, starting tonight. You can find us on Facebook. So let's get into what this is about. Again, I'll ask my questions. Commissioner Gass, you're a coward. You're a coward for not being here tonight because you know what I'm about to ask, and he's sitting right over there. You are a coward, sir. You are a disgrace to
Sir,
the
you
uniform
address
you
the
wear.
board, not individuals.
You do not impede. If you guys allow him to do this to me, I hope you know you're all responsible. You don't get to idly sit by and watch my rights get violated. Now, I have time. He robbed me last time of my time. You guys are all going down. Commissioner Gray, is it true that you called a meeting with a constituent who submitted the appeals to the Office of Open Records? Mr. Gray, during the illegal executive session, did you ask why you were not permitted to view body cam footage? And was your inquiry met with strong opposition from rotten Ronnie Zona without clear response? Commissioner Gray, do you believe that certain members of the board are intimidated by Ron Zona and that is the reason they follow his direction without question? Is it true, Commissioner Gray, that you have made a statement suggesting that Chelsea Dice speaks in legal terms that confuse members of the board who lack legal expertise and that result in simply deferring to Ron Zona? Now, what I wanted to talk to Commissioner Gray about, or Gass, but I'll ask you, did you call Commissioner Gass on January 9th and curse him
Sir,
out?
you're
Your
here to
words,
address
not
the
mine.
board.
Your words, not mine, Rizzo.
Sir,
Did
you
your
are here
mother
to
fuck
address
him?
the
Did you let
board.
your wife
Sir.
motherfuck him? Don't let him do this to me, Mr.
Remove
Gray.
him. Remove him.
I wouldn't do that.
Remove him.
You
You continually make a mockery of this board.
I will
You
go under
cannot-
unlawful order.
You cannot,
Can I get my stuff?
you cannot,
There's no question. I would ask for a point of order that he's violating some laws here, one of them being Title 18 of the Crimes Code 5503, which is disorderly conduct for using obscene language, and I would ask that he be treated as he should be under that law.
I would concur with Commissioner Zona. It seems, our next resident is, looks like Bob Davenberg, I believe. I'm sorry if I misread. Our next resident then is Tricia Henning. Ask you come and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Tricia Henning. I am actual counsel for Mr. Dannenberg, who is speaking. I am here to address the Lincoln Corner matter that's later on the schedule. I didn't know if you wanted me to wait until then to make my comments.
If you have anything you'd like to offer input, you can go ahead and do that now. When we get to that, we can, if anyone has questions, we could bring you back up.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to make sure I was doing it in the order that you wanted me to do it in. So, you heard from me last week. I was previously here last week on April 10th, and I presented a packet of documents to the board during that special meeting. I'm just asking that those documents be made part of the official record. If they are not part of the record, I do have a copy of that packet I can hand up again. Do you know if they're part of the record, or do I need to include that tonight?
Believe we have.
If you could provide another copy tonight, I don't know if individuals wrote on them the last time,
Okay.
so I'd rather have a clean copy for the record. And I did not bring my copy back, so I don't know if everybody has their copies here.
Not a problem. I don't plan on handing you out that packet tonight, but I did bring a copy of it in case that one was necessary for the record. Do you want me to just hand it over to here? Okay, I did not. So tonight, you heard my remarks when we were here last week. Tonight, I want to specifically address the resolution that's up for vote. The resolution, it contains a number of important pieces to this project that are missing and need addressed before the plan can be voted on. Hopefully that you're unwilling to vote on it with any sort of confidence until these things are actually addressed and you have some answers to them. The resolution states that the site plan as amended is going to be approved with the following conditions. And one of those conditions is number 7, which is outstanding engineering comments from KU review letter, as well as the updated Wooster Associate letter. I did include copies of those in the packet. I'll start with the Wooster letter, which is, as far as I know, that's the township's traffic engineer. It is dated March 25th, 2025, rather than the 3/31 that's in the resolution, but I'm told that this is the most recent letter, and this is the letter that is actually being referenced in your resolution. So I want to start with that one. In number 2 of this letter, your traffic engineer states that although capacity, queuing, and sight distance results are favorable, and although there is not an identifiable crash pattern at the intersection of Route 30 with Summit Drive, which is not to be expected with minimal volumes observed coming in and out of Summit Drive currently, the high speeds and high traffic volumes observed on Lincoln Highway, State Route 30, remain a concern relative to the ability of motorists to safely enter the roadway and merge into traffic on Route 30. As such, the preferred alternative, solely from a traffic standpoint, would be an ingress-only site drive along Summit Drive, with a connection to the adjacent property to the west, which would allow patrons to access the signal at the intersection of Lincoln Highway with North-South Thomas Lane and enter Lincoln Highway safely. It is the opinion, if this option is not feasible, Wooster suggests that a gap study be performed in order to document the availability of acceptable gaps in traffic to accommodate both the existing traffic on Summit Drive as well as projected site-generated traffic anticipated to perform this maneuver. This is an outstanding issue and that one you should be provided some answers to before you're asked to vote. You've not been given enough information to know if the proposed plan actually meets your traffic engineer's approval. As it was presented last week, they are planning for both ingress and egress through the entrance and exit on Summit Drive. They do state that if it's going to be anything but ingress, that there's a study that's outstanding, the gap study, and at this point you don't have that, so you don't know what the results are. So they're actually asking you to approve a plan before you even know what the outcome is of that study. So I think basing the resolution just on the conditions being met when they haven't even performed the study is putting you guys in a bad position in terms of not even having all of the information. The traffic has been a major concern with the North Huntington community. The North Huntington Police Department actually sent a letter to the Planning Commission last year when this project was first proposed. That's also included in your packet behind the Wooster letter. This comes from Lieutenant McCurdy, who suggested an entrance off Summit Drive be ingress only. The Planning Commission agreed. when the amended plans, including both ingress and egress, came before the Planning Commission last week, they again stated that this was not something they accepted and they disapproved it. So I'm asking you again to address the concerns of your own traffic engineer before this is voted on. The second letter is the K.
Ma'am, your time is up.
May I be permitted, since I am opposing this, to continue at least to give you the remainder of the information that I have?
So at this point, I guess if we have any additional questions, we can call you up later.
Well, I do have additional things that I would like to make a record of as the attorney in opposition to this, if you will allow me at least to make the record, since this is something that I should be allowed to make a record of in case there is an appeal.
So generally speaking, for citizens' input, we only allow for 5 minutes. If you want to defer I think it was Dannenberg's time that he signed up, and if council or commissioners are willing to take his time for her to make these statements on his behalf, that would be one way to cure this issue and give him additional 5 minutes. But then after this 5 minutes, then you will be done.
I'll certainly
Okay.
be able to finish in 5 minutes. So the second report that's referenced in your resolution is the KU review letter that said it was updated on 3/31. This is a letter that's dated 3/31, but last year, but I've been assured that this is also the most recent one. It's actually a mistake and should be 2025. So the KU letter, on the second page under the subdivision and land development ordinance, section 3046I, also references the Wooster letter concerns. It also references that letter again under the street improvement sections on page 3. The design improvement sections discusses a revised geotechnical analysis that's still outstanding and an updated stormwater management plan that has not been received or been able to be reviewed yet by your engineers. Finally, under the grading and excavations, the engineer discusses the necessity of a revised geotechnical plan. And this is important for the reasons not only set out in the letter, but because this excavation actually triggers the township's grading standards ordinances, which we have an engineer here, Mr. Nathaniel Hayes, who can discuss with you and do a better job of explaining those ordinances to you. The engineer report is included at the end of this packet, but the developer has not shown that this project complies with the township's own ordinances. The township's ordinances require that certain excavations, they're given assurances that they will not negatively impact the property owners, the adjoining property owners. And in this case, the Dannenbergs have a large retaining wall on their property that this excavation is definitely going to encroach on. So the developer hasn't given us any assurances that they'll not undermine this wall, nor have they given you anything, which they're required to do under their own ordinances. The owner at the last meeting told us that his engineer said he could do this construction in digging straight down, not having to have any setbacks as required by your code and the state regulations, but he's not provided any signed, sealed statement from his engineer as your ordinance in 8419B requires. 8419B is actually referenced in your resolution, as it is what the developer is asking for a waiver for on the page 2 of your resolution. They're asking for a waiver of 8419B, which requires their retaining wall. They have another retaining wall that they're planning to build to be 3 feet back from the adjoining property. They're asking that this wall actually be half that, 1.5 feet away from the property line. So this request does not meet the modification requirements in your Subdivision and Land Development Act. I have not seen the request, but it requires the developer to give a reason why this requirement of the 3-foot setback is unreasonable or that there is an undue hardship. I don't know what reason they gave, if they gave you any reason, but I certainly can't imagine that they gave you anything that was an undue hardship, or that the requirement was unreasonable, other than they want to put a large building on a very small piece of property that they would have known the lot size of when they began the project. So I don't believe that there's actually a hardship here that necessitates you approving that modification. So this final request that this be within a short distance of the property line, within 1.5 feet, is just another indication that shows that we have a legitimate concern with the developer not being able to keep all of this project on his own property. They're certainly not going to be able to maintain their stormwater system, which is installed behind the building in the 5 feet between the building and the property line. They're certainly not going to be able to access that because the only access they would have is between a 1.5-foot distance between the retaining wall and to get to it. So I'm asking you not to approve the amended site plan. At this point, there are just too many outstanding questions, concerns, and conditions that I think still need addressed. It's just too soon to approve it. I can't imagine that you would feel confident and comfortable approving this project because it doesn't apply with your own ordinances, nor has it even applied with what your own engineers are asking for before they would give the thumbs up to this. And I do have, like I said, I do believe that Mr. Nathaniel Hayes, our engineer, is next on the list. Do you have any questions for me? Thank you.
Our next
Well,
resident,
before we proceed, I have 2 questions. Number one, when she spoke originally and asked if we should hold it till later, when it's on the agenda, I think that would have been the better way to go, because by allowing her to stack time by people that signed up, we created a precedent that somebody else could use if they want to speak for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, have their friends come up and sign, and then defer to them. So I really think that was a mistake. So, thank you.
our next resident is Nathaniel Hayes. I ask you to come and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Nathaniel Hayes. Business address is 100 McMorris Road, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Mr. Dandenberg engaged me to review the Lincoln Corner project and provide comment. From our review of the development drawings that were dated March 5, 2025, and a site visit, the Dandenberg property, which is upslope and north of this proposed development, has a retaining wall which supports the rear driveway of Elaine Drive residences. The retaining wall is 12 feet in height and less than 10 feet from the as-staked property line. The proposed development consists of a single-story building with a northwest corner wall that is approximately 7 feet below the existing surface grades. Per the UCC, the Uniform Construction Code, which is set forth by the Commonwealth and is followed by most townships and boroughs within the Commonwealth, as well as with OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration guidelines for excavation, any excavation greater than 5 feet should be sloped away from the bottom of the work area to permit safe zone of construction activity for the workers. Based on the type of soils noted on the project drawings, the code requires the temporary slopes be laid back on a 1.5 to 1 ratio, or 1.5 feet in horizontal distance for every 1 foot of vertical rise. The resulting horizontal distance for excavation to permit a safe and code-compliant slope for this portion of the project is 10 feet. According to the project plans, the distance between the proposed finished building wall and the upslope retaining wall on the Dandenberg property is 10 feet. This calculation, however, leaves no space for the necessary building of foundations or required perimeter drainage. It's only to the exterior face of that wall. So additional excavations pushing further towards Mr. Dandenberg's wall would likely need to occur in order to install the foundations to support that building wall. We have concerns that the proposed development does not permit safe excavations that would allow construction of the proposed building without potentially destabilizing the upslope wall on the Dandenberg property or necessitating temporary excavations steeper than the code allows. Additionally, North Huntington Township has enacted their own ordinances regulating excavation limits. Section 84-19B is relevant to the installation of the below-grade building or site walls for this project. The ordinance section covers permanent and temporary slopes for site grading, retaining wall, and trench utility excavations. All of those will occur along this shared property line. The ordinance mirrors the codes being OSHA and the UCC, but the township ordinance is more specific and requires the condition that the cut face of the excavation be entirely inside of the property lines of the property on which the excavation is made. Additionally, the ordinance requires a written sealed statement by the project engineer that they have inspected the site and the material in which the excavation is made is sufficiently stable to sustain a slope steeper than the ordinance requires. The ordinance goes on to state that the engineer certification, and they will certify the steeper slope will not endanger any property or cause property damage. The developer's engineer has not provided any statement that we're aware of that this excavation will comply with the ordinance or that it will not damage the Dannenberg property. Additionally, our wall is a structure under the ordinance that is 84-19B, grading standards, excavation requirements, and subpart excavation adjacent to footings. Under this ordinance, and the excavation will extend below the natural slope of the soil supporting the wall. Therefore, the ordinance requires that an engineer must show that the structure is properly underpinned or protected against settlement before the project begins. From our review of these sections of the township ordinances, the excavation necessary for this project cannot be completed in compliance with the ordinances and codes without potentially destabilizing the retaining wall, causing property damage, and encroaching on the Dannenberg property. None of the ordinances allow the excavation into adjacent properties. And I'm just going to reserve my time. Thank you.
Moving on to response to citizens' input. Our first citizen was Mr. Luthold discussing the EMS. Does anybody have anything for the director?
Yeah, if you may, Rob, really, you do great work over there. I see it, and really, we just want to say thank you very much to both you and John and your whole staff over there. Thank you very much.
Our next resident was Mr. Keenan. Do we have any, we will look into that letter that was presented. Does anybody have anything for Mr. Keenan at this point? Seeing none. Our next resident was Mr. Carosa. Does any,
I was just wondering, he said that's from Texas. Is that a different North Huntington Township, maybe? Because there's a lot of North Huntington Townships and North Huntington cities in the country.
Just looking it over, it looks like a solicitation to solicit money for the National Police Association. Just seeking a donation.
next resident was Mr. Carosa. Does any board member have anything regarding anything Mr. Carosa said? Seeing none, our last three discussed the Lincoln Corner. Does anybody have anything to respond now, or we can wait until that comes up in the agenda? All right. Moving on to approval of minutes, looking for approval of minutes for our special meeting from March 13th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Zona, second by Commissioner Hempel. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. For a regular meeting dated March 19th, 2025.
I'll make the motion that we pay voucher number 38673 through voucher number 41290.
We're seeking approval of minutes for the regular meeting.
Oh,
I'll make that motion.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'll
I'm
second.
sorry. I was going
We'll
ahead.
save- we'll
Sorry
save
about
one.
that.
We'll come back to it. Okay.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Haggis and a second by Commissioner Zona. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Now, for payment of bills.
There we go. Voucher number 38673 through voucher number 41290.
Second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hempel and a second by Commissioner Bevan to pay voucher number 38673 through 41290. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. To staff reports. Director Hawklinski, do you have anything to add to your report tonight, sir?
No, sir, nothing particular to add, but I did want to take 1 second to mention that Corey Sheriff, our senior mechanic, continues his recovery from being sick, and I know many of you most of you know him, and a lot of people out here know him, and I want to get into people's personal business, but just keep Corey in your thoughts and prayers, please. He's got young daughters, and we're very anxious to have him back, and it's difficult to get along without him, but on that note, I want to thank our guys because we've had guys really step up and get us by. So just keep Corey in your thoughts and prayers. We appreciate it. Thank you.
We can definitely do that. Any board member have anything for Director Hawklinski? All right. Moving on to Park and Recreation's report. Coordinator Kincaid is not here tonight. Does any commissioner have anything to get back to her?
I believe Rich might have brought this up last week about the pickleball courts. Harry, do you have any follow-up on that? I know I spoke to a few residents in the public, and it seems like the side fencing's too close to the courts that they can allow play for that side. So I don't expect anything tonight, but I'd like to get a plan together to rectify that issue so they're more usable for the general public to use.
Yeah, as far as the pickleball courts, they were built to design specs of the National Pickleball Association. After they were built and we started receiving some feedback, then we learned that the advanced players like to have a little bit more room. It's really cost prohibitive at this point to make them wider because we have to remove about 17 fence posts, add some more asphalt, and then do an overlay of that. But if we want to build more pickleball courts down the road, there's room to build another set of courts next to there or anywhere else in the parks, then we can definitely make that a lot, from a 5 feet buffer to a 10-foot buffer. But as far as we've seen, that everything was designed to specs of the National Pickleball Association.
Do we know how much that would cost? The only reason I ask is I know people that are serious about pickleball, those courts probably aren't going to be used.
No, we just didn't look into a cost for it, but we imagine it's probably going to be tens of thousands of dollars. But we can look into that price if you like.
Yeah, I'm just worried that what we have already there is going to be wasted because I know a lot of people are asking about it, and I think once people are used to playing pickleball or any sport, you're going to want the same dimensions, the same court every time. I don't know. I'm just worried about nobody using them and it going to waste.
One of the residents even mentioned if they just took away the side fencing, even if there was no fencing there, as long as they had the back fencing, to allow them to move more, because when they reached out their arm, they're basically reaching into the fence with their swing.
Yeah,
I mean, and maybe just get together and get some ideas and come back to the board with maybe some recommendations and cost.
Yeah, that's an idea we didn't think of, just removing the fence. There's no traffic and the ball is going to land in the grass and roll rather quick. So yeah, that's definitely an idea we could look at.
Okay.
I think we can definitely get some possibilities to rectify that situation. Anybody else have anything for Parks and Recreation? Sorry. Seeing none. Police report. Chief Rizzo, anything to add to your report tonight, sir?
Nothing to add.
Nope. Any commissioners have anything for Chief Rizzo? Seeing none. Management report. Coordinator Mahinsky, do you have anything to add to your report tonight, sir?
Nothing to add.
Nothing. Any commissioners have anything for Coordinator Mahinsky? No? Thank you, sir. Engineering report. Mr. Grabiak, do you have anything to add to your report tonight, sir?
Nothing additional.
Any board members have anything for Mr. Grabiak? Seeing none. Community Development, Director Andrikowicz.
I have nothing further to add to the reports tonight.
Does anybody have anything from Director Andrikowicz for the Community Development Report or the Fire Officials Report? Seeing none. Go ahead.
Okay, we do have two items tonight from the Planning Commission that will need board action. Number 1 is Site Plan 01-2024, Lincoln Corner Plaza 2. Board action to approve the revisions of the previously approved site plan. The Planning Commission did vote to deny this 7-0.
Hey, Josh, what is the, as one of our speakers had said, the gap survey on the traffic?
We need a motion and a second before we can open discussion, please.
I'll make a motion to deny. Second.
The motion by Commissioner Zona. Motion by Commissioner Zona to deny, second by Commissioner Gray. Any further discussion? You can go ahead, Mr. Zona.
Yeah, I just, what's a gap study?
The gap study is just an additional traffic study that measures the gaps in the traffic during the day. It was recommended by Worcester. Wasn't required for them to do, but they opted not to do that study. I guess they felt that their traffic study they did was acceptable. So they did opt not to do that study extra.
If this is denied, the plan, their original plan that we approved, is that still in effect?
That would still be in effect, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's, I think, 6 conditions on that they still need to meet.
None of those have been met, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Outside, I asked this last week, outside of the waiver for the front frontage for the retaining wall, it meets all of their zoning and regulations, correct?
Yeah, other than the previously.
Yeah, that waivers that we had
waivers
put
and
in that already
modifications.
approved, but they're only asking for one additional waiver for the
Correct,
retaining
yeah.
wall frontage from Route 30.
That's right.
And only other one question I had, some of the citizens that spoke on this, so there's been some talk about Summit Drive. There was the first time around we had this. Summit Drive currently, you can egress and come into Summit Drive from Route 30. So there's no signage saying you can't make a left-hand turn or a right-hand turn from Summit. So this development wouldn't be asking for any additional thing that's currently not already there.
Yeah, I don't, there was
Yeah.
nothing additional.
Correct.
Correct.
All right.
Any other commissioners have anything? So I have a motion to deny and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor of the denial, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
Roll call, Manager Falk.
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Zona,
Yes.
Commissioner Hagus,
No.
Commissioner Hempel,
No.
Commissioner Bevan,
Yes.
President Atwood.
Yes. Motion carries 4-2. The plan has been denied.
Item number 2, subdivision 08-2025, JP Land Holding Route 993 subdivision. Board action to approve the subdivision along State Route 993.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Zona and a second by Commissioner Hempel. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Moving on to Solicitor's Report. Solicitor Dice,
I have no items for tonight.
thank you. Moving on to Township Manager Report. Manager Falk.
Action to approve the March check register.
Motion to
Second.
The motion by Commissioner Zona and a second by Commissioner Bevan. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
You have a copy of the budget report dated March 2025. Are there any questions? Seeing none, moving on. Action to approve the MOU with NHTPD regarding grievance number 75.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Hempel, second by Commissioner Zona. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to approve the MOU with Mountain Ridge Estates.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Hygus, a second by Commissioner Hempel. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to award the bid to Becky Coe for the 2011 Ford Escape in the amount of $6,500.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hempel, second by Commissioner Bevan. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to award the bid to Casey Rock for the 2014 Ford Police Interceptor Utility in the amount of $9,800.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion by Commissioner Commissioner Zona, second by Commissioner Bevan. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to award the Park Camera project to Lotimus Communications in the amount of $85,936.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion by Commissioner Zona, second by Commissioner Hempel. Any further discussion?
Yes. As I said last week, I'm not a fan of a surveillance state. Adding cameras everywhere, I believe, invades privacy. I know I asked last week if we had a lot of vandalism at the parks, and Manager Falk said we have some graffiti, but he indicated that we have needles on the ground. I believe it was near the restrooms, and then made a blanket statement that diabetics take care of their needles, and therefore seeming to indicate that needles on the ground now are drug use, not diabetics. I feel there's other ways to patrol this, and I'm against the cameras. That's all. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Motion carries 5-1.
Action to award the 2025 guide rail maintenance contract to Green Acres Contracting Company in the amount of $57,522.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hygus and a second by Commissioner Hempel. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to approve resolution number 116, designating the president and manager to execute all documents and agreements with the Commonwealth Financing Authority regarding the Greenways, Trails, and Recreation Grant for the Indian Lake Park Rehabilitation Project.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Zona, second by Commissioner Bevan. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to approve resolution number 117, amending the 2025 budget.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Zona, second by Commissioner Gray. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to appoint Brian Crow as an alternate to the Civil Service Commission for a 6-year term.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Hygus. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to accept letters of interest for the Recreation Board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Zona, second by Commissioner Hempel. Any further discussion?
Did you say there is 2 openings, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to refund the property of Walmart Real Estate Business Trust in the amount of $6,219.16 for tax year 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hempel, second by Commissioner Bevan. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to approve payment to DJ Demo in the amount of $23,300 for the demolition of 14860 Lincoln Highway.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Go ahead.
Motion by Commissioner Zona, second by Commissioner Gray. Any further discussion?
That was the property formerly known as Rivertown, right?
Correct.
Money well spent.
All those in favor by stating aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to hire Adam Hoffman for the position of Code Enforcement Officer with a salary of $58,000 contingent upon the successful completion of the pre-employment drug screening and background check.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hempel, second by Commissioner Bevan. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to hire Alex Smith, Ariana Burnett, and Braden Salmon for the position of summer help at a rate of $15 per hour with no benefits.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bevan, second by Commissioner Zona. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Action to open a money market savings account with Somerset Trust Company for the escrow fund.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion by Commissioner Zona and a second by Commissioner Hygus. I do have a question to start. This escrow fund, is this for all escrows that we use, or is this for a specific one?
Yeah, so we have an escrow fund that when developers, and we hold the money into an escrow fund. We have over $1 million sitting in there that's low interest. We used to have a money market account with that account, meaning that we can transfer that money into the savings and get a high yield interest. For whatever reason, that went away. We don't know when. So basically, this is just a savings account for the escrow fund. So that money for the escrow will sit in a high yield savings. That interest will then be transferred over to the general fund.
Any other questions regarding this? All those in favor by stating aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to advertise for the position of telecommunications officer.
Motion.
to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Bevan and a second by Commissioner Zona. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to purchase a 2024 Ram 3500 from Jim Shorkey in the amount of $50,123.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Hempel and a second by Commissioner Zona. Any further discussion?
Is this part of the CoStars program?
Yes, it is.
Any other questions? All those in favor by stating aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to advertise for request for proposals for the replacement of the police department ceiling.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Zona and a second by Commissioner Bevan. Any further discussion? All those in favor by stating aye? Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
Action to release the cash bonds in the amount of $33,889.49 and $34,091 regarding Willow Estates for Cornwall Drive and Derby Court.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Zona and a second by Commissioner Hempel. Any further discussion? We're not accepting for dedication these roads. We're just releasing the bond, correct?
Correct.
Okay, just want to double check on that one. Thank you. All those in favor by stating aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
That is the end of my report.
Do we have any further board comments at this point?
Yes. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I have something quick. I'll be short and sweet with this one. Obviously, it's come out, and I think it can be pretty well proven. It's somebody on this board that's not only unprofessional, it's appalling, it's disgusting. Somebody on this board finds it in their heart to release confidential information that we discuss in executive session. And obviously, it's been going on because several different executive sessions are obviously out in the public. As I said, I'll be short and sweet. Whoever is doing that on his board needs to step down and resign. I have no confidence in going into an executive session and speaking, which is supposed to be confidential and in private, period. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Commissioner Gray?
I would like to, not sure how to do this. I would like to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter within the confines of this meeting, and then come back out here in case action needs to be taken. Is that proper? So
You'd have to
let's-
make a motion to go into executive session.
Yeah.
Yep.
That, yeah. I make that motion.
I'll second. I have a motion by Commissioner Gray and a second by Commissioner Hempel.
I would
No
ask,
discussion, you
No
would just,
discussion.
you, there's no discussion on that. You would just vote to
Yep.
yay or nay to go into executive session.
All those in favor, let's say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
The federal government sort of backed me up on that, didn't it? Or perhaps the post office delivered it to my house. I heard what you said.
Yeah, it looks like a solicitation letter.
It does, but, well, yeah, I'm gonna leave mine here too.
Right, the
Are we back in?
Board of Commissioners is now reconvening at 8:14 PM from an executive session.
I would like to make a motion to add to the agenda the reorganization of the president and vice president of the board.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Gray and a second from Commissioner Haggis. Do we have any further discussion at this point? All those in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 6-0. At this point, we will open for citizens' input.
Since it wasn't on the agenda, right?
Was that an agenda just now?
Yep.
Do we have any citizens' input regarding the reorganization of the Board of Commissioners? Seeing none?
Just curious, can you speak to what's going on or not?
We're-
Just curious. I don't know. I just wanted to ask as a citizen. Thank you.
So the commissioners have voted to reorganize for president and vice president, so they're going to go forward and nominate individuals for president. That person will then move forward being president. They'll carry the rest of the meeting, move forward with future meetings, be president, and then there'll be a nomination for vice president as well, who will then be sitting as vice chair essentially when president is unavailable.
At this point, I would like to nominate Commissioner Haggis as president.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for Commissioner Haggis to be president.
Any other nominations?
Do we have any other nominations at this point? Seeing none,
Now you have a vote.
moving forward, we'll do a roll call vote. Manager Falk?
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Zona,
Yes.
Commissioner Hagus,
Yeah.
Commissioner Hempel,
Yes.
Commissioner Bevan,
Abstain?
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes. Motion carries 5-0 with one abstention.
So now Mr. Haggis will run the meeting.
I'll entertain a nomination for Vice President of the Board of Commissioners, North Huntington Township.
I'd like to make a motion that Commissioner Zona be vice president.
Second?
Discussion. All those, roll call vote, Manager Falk.
Commissioner Gray,
No.
Commissioner Zona,
Yes.
Commissioner Atwood,
Yes.
Commissioner Hempel,
Yes.
Commissioner Bevan,
Yes.
Commissioner Hagus.
Yes. Motion passes 5-1. This time, any further board comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor by state and line?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Meeting adjourned at 8:18. You get to still sign tonight.
They were in my backseat.
Yeah, this is a boilerplate. I don't know. You can email it to everybody, but just so no one questions, yeah.
Hi, I'm Chelsea. Nice to meet you. You said you guys, changed your name in 1999? I was right. 2008. 2008.
Yeah, so well, in 1988 was the first paid member.
Ah.
So in 2008, it went from our long legal name of North Huntington Township Volunteer Rescue Association Company, yeah, to North Huntington EMS Rescue.
Okay, all right. I was trying, I don't know where I got